Going to invite Tammy Naokas and Mark Ball up to introduce our next inductee.
Before I begin, I want to say thank you to Coach Schaefer for reminding me that no matter what I do today, I can't be fired since I've recently retired from Wylie ISD. It is wonderful being home with my grandchildren, but I do miss so many people, and there's so many in this room that I have connections with. It's been a pleasure to be here and to get to honor Heather. In the last week, I've been talking to my husband and reflecting about a lot of memories I had of Heather and coaching her and watching her grow. And I found that I couldn't do that without becoming so emotional. So I prepared a script and put this together with some information that Heather had shared with me. And I'm going to stick with that. Otherwise, I'm just going to be a pool of mush up here that you guys would not want to deal with. So Heather Gale Fuller was born in Nacogdoches, Texas in 1979. By the age of 5, she was active in both gymnastics and dance in Muleshoe, Texas, where her family lived. The family then moved to San Marcos where she began playing in basketball and softball leagues at the age of 8. While attending junior high in San Marcos, she competed in cross-country, track, volleyball, basketball, and cheerleading. Heather then became a Lady Pirate at Wylie High School in November of her freshman year. I still remember that day. Coach David Black came and got my attention at my classroom door, and he said, "You better come down here to the gym." Okay, I sure will. Heather did play 3 basketball games on our freshman squad, not because I needed that much time to observe that she had both the talent and potential to play in a 4A varsity basketball district, but because I was required by UIL to give her that period of time as a move-in. The day that she became eligible, I eagerly moved her to our varsity squad. Soon after that, she became a starter. She completed her freshman year on the varsity track team, and then we were all excited because we knew we had 3 more years. We just needed her father not to move. We wanted that family here. Absolutely. During her sophomore and junior and senior years of high school, she made the cheerleading squad, competed in cross country, played varsity basketball, varsity softball, and participated in 5 events on the track team because that was all that the rules would allow. Heather was a leader among her peers. She set the tone for our basketball team as well as with all Lady Pirate athletes. She always set high goals while also personally committing to work as hard and as long as it took to achieve success. As a coach for her, one of my greatest challenges was to provide workouts and practices that would benefit Heather and challenge her without the rest of our team falling out or quitting on me. It was tough. We became an up-tempo, quick transition team for that very reason. She was admired by her coaches in Wylie and by the coaches of teams that we competed against. I remember about every game that we played anywhere, whether it was a tournament or a district play or just a game, I always had to have a conversation with the coach of the opposing team. They were intrigued by her skill and talent. During her sophomore year, she was named Defensive Player of the Year in basketball and Offensive Player of the Year in softball. During her junior year, she was named Offensive Player of the Year in basketball, was recognized as the Most Valuable Player of the Year in track and cross country, both her junior and senior years. During her senior year, she was named Most Valuable Player of the Year in basketball and Defensive Player of the Year in softball. All 4 years at Wylie High School, Heather was unanimously selected as our most athletic female. Her peers also selected her as Miss WHS her senior year because of her humble attitude and kindness towards everyone. She was also acknowledged as an All-American cheerleader through the National Cheer Association. In high school, Heather placed a priority on her academic studies. If you needed to find Heather, you could always find her in the gym, on the track, or in the weight room, and often with a book in her hand. On the buses too. She did a lot of studying on the buses and did a lot of lessons. She definitely set high goals, and worked hard to achieve them. So much so that occasionally I would have to encourage her to go home and rest so that I could lock up the gym and the weight room in order to make sure that my own family and my children recognized me. Being a gifted athlete did not keep Heather from striving to improve. Outside of high school, she competed on an AAU basketball team and with cheer athletics, as well as trained in Plano with a private instructor to improve her distance running. While attending North Texas State University and Texas A&M Commerce, she competed in intercollegiate cross country and track. In December of 2000, she graduated from Texas A&M Commerce with a Bachelor of Science degree with double majors in health and kinesiology. She then went on to complete an internship at the Cooper Center Clinic in Dallas, where she learned more about the human body and how it functions. As an adult, Heather has been able to utilize all that she learned from her team and extracurricular activities and experiences to achieve professional dreams. She opened and has maintained ownership in a physical fitness gym, trained athletes and non-athletes, taught fitness classes, and coached different sports and cheerleading. She also served as an associate in medical sales, supervised a teacher supply store, and taught in public schools for 6 years. One of those years, while teaching at Dodd Elementary, she assisted coaching track after school at Wylie High School. While doing all of that, she still found time to professionally dance for both the Dallas Desperados and the Allen Ice Angels. Now, some of you guys are getting tired about now, right? You cannot imagine. This girl has energy. She is married to a medical sales manager, Brandon Neighbors. I first met Brandon when he attended one of our basketball games after he and Heather had started dating. I remember this time because you hear little buzzings going on, and it always comes back to the coach. What's happening? What's happening? Well, Heather came to me and she said, "Coach, I'm really worried. Brandon doesn't know anyone. He's coming to watch me play, and I don't want him to feel unwelcome in Wylie." And I said, Heather, no. You'll need to sit with the team, and that's what we do. We support the JV. And if this boy is worth your time, he'll still be there when this game is over. Well, it looks like I was right, because some 14 plus years later, they're still supporting each other and their children. They have 4 children. Tyson is 12, Jacelyn 9, Tyranny 7, and Kipton 5. It will not come as a surprise to anyone that after each of her children were born, she completed a personal health challenge. After Tyson was born, she joined the Dallas Desperado team in 2004. After Jacelyn was born, she ran a marathon race. After Tyranny was born, she placed first female and 11th overall in the annual Gladiator Rock and Run. After Kipton was born, Heather joined the Allen Ice Angels. She and Brandon make their home in Rockwall, where they promote and operate the Rockwall Youth Community Athletics, a nonprofit cheer and football organization. Because of Heather's passion to help others and her love of sports, she is currently building a new fitness center for youth called Drive, where she can continue her love of sports and assist in mentoring upcoming athletes. She also is a member of Lake Point Church in Rockwall and believes that spiritual growth is a major part of athletes' success. Heather has 2 older brothers, Jason and Chris Fuller, 2 younger sisters, and one of them was able to attend today, Callie Carden and Cassie Fuller, and parents, John and Gail Fuller, that dearly love her. They have all supported her in all of her academic and sporting events. It was a blessing to have had the opportunity to coach such an outstanding young lady that loved sports and truly demonstrated grit before grit was cool. And we talk a lot about grit in Wylie now. Some you all who are still involved in Wylie ISD. Heather was the shining example of my memory some 15, 16 years ago when we started talking about grit the last couple of years. She truly demonstrated that through her perseverance to achieve her goals. I admire the strong Christian woman that Heather is and how she continues to live her dream of helping others while sharing her love of all sports. Coach Ball, would you join me, please?
Thank you, Tammy. And you know, Tammy, I know holds a special place being Heather's coach, and so yeah, you can get pretty emotional. You did a really good job though, so you hung in there. I was really proud of you. You know, I can say a lot of things about Heather, and I think about what we experienced here today, and you know, see all the people here, and Zach, and Stephen, and Drew, and Cassie, and all these people. If you really want to know what I think about Wylie, you can go back and look at the speech I gave last year. This is a great place, and a place that's really special to me, and it's so nice to be involved in something like this, and it's such a great experience. And yeah, it was worth me driving 6 hours in the rain last night to get here, you know, because I don't want to miss this at all. You know, I think when Coach Howard and I came to Wylie, you know, this deal about building athletes, we started, and you know, there wasn't a whole lot of fitness training going on. There wasn't a whole lot of strength conditioning going on, but one person that was way ahead of the game was Heather. So I wish I could have gotten. Really, we maybe should have hired her we hired the performance course to come in and start working with our kids, but she was so far ahead of the game. And I don't want to repeat a bunch of stuff, but I do think it's important, you know, to look at what kind of athlete she was and all the sports she participated in. And I just think about going and watching her in track that first spring I was here, and she ran the mile relay, 800-meter relay, discus, and the triple jump. And I know Coach Howard for a while, she held the school records in the discus and triple jump. An unbelievable athlete. And then, you know, you'd go, I'd see her in the hall, and I didn't know her that well because I'd only been here since January, and I'd see her, she'd be all dressed up, really nice. Then I'd go watch her play softball, and she was a catcher. And I mean, she was, you know, I mean, she got after it. She was a great competitor. And I think it's important, you know, when I looked at this and I saw that name, Heather Gale Fuller Neighbors, I know all four of those names are important to her. And I think about how important the Gale part is, how important the Fuller part is, and how important the Neighbors part is in her life. This is what I remember about Heather. She was a nice person. She was a very good student, but she was a very fierce competitor. She trained hard and she trained smart, and she was so far ahead of other female athletes in this area. And I really believe she was one of the best female athletes in the history of Wylie. I think she could play any sport, any position. I never once heard her say a negative word about a teammate or a coach. If you're going to beat Heather in anything, you might do it, but you better bring a sack lunch because it's going to take a while. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Heather Fuller for induction in the 2016 Wylie Sports Hall of Honor.